to hide from all the voices telling
Good afternoon, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to a special live broadcast of Trojan Country, live from the STC High School Commons. It is round one of the Iowa High School esports playoffs, and the South Tama esports team is getting ready to have their opening round match against Osage. I'm Darvin Graham, and I'm joined by my co-host this evening, Hunter White. Hunter, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited for South Tama esports. I've been broadcasting college esports for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Really glad to see that this is finally coming in at the high school level and, something that I didn't have when I was younger. So really excited to see today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a really great, interesting program to see take off at South Tama. I think, don't know, I don't have it in front of me. I know it's been, getting probably close to 5 years now that the Trojans have had this program, and it's becoming a more formalized activity. As they've got a governing body at the state level that kind of sets up all the rules and bylaws and everything, and they've got an in-person state tournament coming up next week. If South Tama wins tonight against Osage, they'll advance on to Marshalltown at the Orpheum Theater in downtown area there, and it'll be an 8-team state tournament. South Tama is competing for one of 4 at-large bids. There were the top 4 ranked teams automatically qualified and don't have to compete this week. The bottom 4 of the qualifiers, or the bottom 8, I should say, are competing tonight, and the winners of each of those 4 matches will advance on. You're okay. You're all right. Yeah, we're kind of right down the middle there. You're okay. Uh-huh. So we're just getting set to get action started here, and we're set to start at 4 o'clock, and we might be just a couple minutes shy of that, but when we get official action started, we'll switch the screen over to show you the game feed itself. So you're going to see on your screen South Tama's players and the kind of direct feed from the Nintendo system. So.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so exciting to watch these matchups here today. Just, the variability, if that's a term, of just, the different play styles. And Smash is just so interesting as just a game on the whole because, of course, base level, it is it's a combat, kind of one-on-one,
Yep.
very Mortal Kombat-like game. But, at a deeper level, there's tons of mechanics,
Yeah.
Timing, and there has to be like a little bit of, I guess, some sort of kind of like chess matching.
Exactly.
As you're going through, these matches, and kind of looking here, it's 5 series of 1v1s.
Yeah.
The first to 3 kind of per matchup, and it's going to be a lot of momentum swinging, trying to get into the opponent's head, and it's going to be so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of combines that Street Fighter sort of mechanics, being very familiar with each character and the moves they can do and what how they can interact with your opponent, and then being able to know when to deploy those things, and so yeah, we're kind of looking at the matchup here between South Tama and Osage tonight, and we're delayed just a little bit. We've got the coaches kind of working on an issue, and as soon as they get that set up, we will get our action started. And so yeah, we're kind of in a holding pattern here, but the match you see on the screen here, we've got a live camera feed going. It's just a practice round, so not an official tournament action going yet. And let's see here. So we'll just introduce the roster first for South Tama as we have it here, and I believe there might be a change to the roster. So, okay, so what we have here, we've got 5 players that will compete for South Tama and Osage each. They're ranked, so the first player that competes is the top-ranked player for each team. South Tama's number 1 plays Osage's number 1, and South Tama's number 2 plays Osage's number 2, and so on and so forth. And so the top-rated player for South Tama is going to be Alex Babinet. He's a junior. His gamer tag is Babs, and he's played this season as Cloud. The characters Cloud and Hero throughout this season. He'll be playing as Hero today. And
Dakota is going to be uneligible.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So, so Alex Babinet's our number 1. He's a junior for South Tama, and he's playing as the Hero character. Jonah Houghton is a senior, and he's the number 2. Will be playing in the second match. His gamer tag is codename Artix, and he is playing today as Incineroar. He also plays throughout this season as several different characters. He's played as Dark Pit, Sephiroth, Terry, King K. Rool, and Ike. So he's really gotten diverse with his character selections this season. Jesse Ordaz is the 3rd ranked and 3rd match player on the roster for South Tama. He's a sophomore. His gamer tag is Stitch Gaming 7, and he's playing as Captain Falcon and Simon this season. Today he's going to be playing as the Simon character. And rounding out the lineup right now in the 4th spot is Jerome Capeu. He's a junior. His gamer tag is just Capeu, and this season he's played as Roy and Kirby, and today he will be playing as Roy. Throughout the season, Ryder Hill has also been part of the varsity roster. He's out sick today, so he's not able to compete. And Dakota Fontenelle has also been participating this season. He's unable to go today as well. So what we're waiting for is to determine if the state governing body is going to allow South Tama to bring up a JV player to make a full 5-person roster. So that's kind of the holdup at the moment. Then going down the roster for Osage, their number 1 is Dawson Eriks. He's going to be playing as the ROB character. Rob, okay.
Yeah, it's just Rob.
And the number 2 roster spot's going to be Colton Nelson. He's going to be playing as Joker. Then it's Ben Meyer playing as Roy. Dace Darrow is playing as Captain Falcon. And rounding out the Osage lineup is Jackson Jones. He's playing as Ridley. And so, to run down the rules, if you've got any novices tuning in, the players, you know what, I'm going to have you run this down. You'll probably be a little more eloquent than I will.
So essentially what's going to happen is both South Tama and Osage will play in a 1-to-3 best-of-5 matchup. It will, in-game, it will be just standard competitive matches. So for those who don't know or know about the game of Smash, certain particular things can happen. Like during casual play, they usually have items that are available. Sometimes the stage or the platforms of which the players play on will tend to move. Not here in competitive play where there's no items, there are no stage moving parts. So we're kind of like looking at this here. It's a common 3 stock, so stock is like life.
Yep.
And just and very casual, or excuse me. There are casual stages, and that there are also competitive stages. And of course, the governing bodies that did provide us with a list of potential stages that we could that players could pick. Some have pros and cons depending on the blast box.
Yeah.
And just how different, how many platforms are above the standard stage.
Yep.
But during the actual matches itself, it is going to be number 1 of South Tama is going to play, like you mentioned, number 1 of Osage. They are going to play that one character, or I have at least seen at the college level, in between matches, to a best of 5 scenario. Sometimes you can counter pick, especially if you lose a map, you are able to counter pick a different map.
Okay.
So typically the gentleman's rule is start on Pokemon Stadium 2.
Okay.
And then depending on, who wins, who loses, sometimes from there you usually see like a Town and Country or small battlefield if you want a smaller blast box.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, how points accrue is depending on how many stocks are taken in a given round. And of course, the team who gets rid of all 3 stocks of the opponent gets 3 points, whereas opposed to if the losing individual only takes 1 stock, they only get 1 point for that.
And
for
then
that
so out of
series.
those 5 matches, those points tally up through each of those 5 matches, and the team with the most points at the end will win the game essentially, and that will be win the round. Actually, win
Yes.
the round is the term we're looking for. So there's going to be a best of 3 rounds. The game is the total.
All right.
Okay, so yep. Sorry, we're just hearing some announcements from the coaches. South Tama's coaches this season are Mike Carnahan and Nick Seitz.
Player we're going to play 4 against their 5, which means
Okay.
the match that he would have played,
Yeah.
they take that match automatically.
They take it automatically.
Okay.
Got it.
So the ruling that South Tama is having to deal with today is that because they've got 1 ineligible player, they're not able to bring up an additional player to make a 5-team roster. And so what will happen is the 1 match that the player that's ineligible for South Tama was going to play is going to be forfeited to Osage. So that will, I believe, just be a 3-point.
Yeah, that's just a 3-point, 3-0.
So South Tama is going to be starting kind of behind the 8 ball here a little bit, and they're going to need some help to kind of get over the hump here. So in each of the rounds, Osage is going to be starting with a 3-point advantage, giving that 1 round is going to be forfeit because of an ineligible player for South Tama, and that should move the action. It'll move the action along quicker because we're going to have
absolutely.
1 less match. But we are getting ready to start here in just a couple of moments. So up first for South Tama will be Alex Babinet playing as Hero, and Dawson Eriks from Osage playing as Rob.
See, and the interesting thing that I really like about this sort of kind of matchup is that Rob has a very specific projectile, kind of like a dreidel spinner,
Okay.
that can be used very much at length. And the Hero character, depending on just sort of kind of the play style that Babs decides to use, it's going to be hard to kind of engage at a closer distance because he always has that dreidel.
Yeah.
And there's also like different kind of like forward airs that Rob has that he can use in his kit to kind of like push him off into, getting to a bad position.
So we should say the more damage or the more hits that each player takes increases a percentage counter that you'll see on the bottom of the
Yes.
screen, and the higher the percentage means the less defenses that player has to stay on the board. And so
Correct.
the object is to be able to knock your opponent all the way off the map so they can't climb back on the edge and get back up on. And if they're
Yep.
having a low defense, then they're much more susceptible to that.
Right, and for those of you who are listening who are not very familiar with the game of Super Smash Brothers, the terms that most people tend to use is like neutral. Neutral fights are happening right at the center of the stage.
Yep.
If one decides to gets a nice combo in, gets a juggle, pushing basically out of that neutral space, the person who is doing the pushing or doing the comboing is in the advantage, and the one who is not is in the disadvantage. After you go into an advantage-disadvantage state, you will then be pushed to potentially a ledge guard, ledge trap situation, because there's a lot of different different play styles, different characters that actually can utilize the air outside of like the main stage.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for me either using the term
Yeah.
ledge guard, ledge trapping. Hopefully I'll try and point that out as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just getting the players are getting logged in at the moment, and just a minute or two from action here. So this is Alex Babinet. He's down front in the black stocking hat there. And we're going to cut over to our live video feed.
All right. So the map pool that can be picked, as it looks like the initial pick is going to be Battlefield. Battlefield's a really good map. It's basically similar to like a gentleman's kind of space, like the blast zone to take a stock away.
Yeah.
Isn't necessarily that big, but it's not necessarily that small either. And I do believe there is. Let's see if I can remember correctly. Like maybe 2 above the player platforms that make it really good. So Battlefield, Final Destination. But yeah, no, I'm really excited.
And we are underway here. Match 1, round 1. Babinet versus Erics. And so South Tama, you can see the STC S1. The red player is South Tama here. So we're underway.
Yeah, and already initially just some up airs coming out of Osage and little glitch
lag,
there.
yeah.
That's going to become a little tough here, but a nice get up there from South Tama as they are able to kind of go back into that neutral fight, block out of the shield, and nice back throw grapple there from South Tama. So already doing some good things. In this particular matchup that you really see, you really kind of want to engage with that. But then again, that's that spinning move that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
That you really need to be careful about. Already a nice big shot. Already just using those up airs, side airs, just being just really aggressive for that Osage varsity team. And again, another stock down. So initially starting off with stock down only 35% for Osage.
So Osage out early. And Eric's dominating the edge there.
Yep. So utilizing
There's that
some of
dreidel.
those. Yep. So that dreidel is what's gonna create that distance, and using that Osage down air is kind of usually used for like a ledge guard, ledge trapping situations. And already just utilizing all those systems and a big dreidel hit, that's gonna kid him out to an SD. So that was a good edge guard, ledge trapping situation. Catching him out of his recovery. So 80%, good shot. This is where South Tama really needs to take advantage of the neutral fight here already. And it's just, trying to fight some of those, just the spinning as, some more lag.
More lag there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a little
not a
tough.
good feeling, yeah.
But yeah, so he's gotta really engage from that neutral fight, look for a couple dashes, maybe utilize more of those platforms to really, maybe he at this point maybe look for some kind of grapple,
Yep.
look for some kind of special smash. He needs to recover out of this. But gets hit by the dreidel. Yeah, so he just playing a little timid, but nice big hit. He needs to follow up here. Uses the dreidel against the Osage character. Uses the smash and gets the stock off of Osage at 122%.
Wow.
That is
impressive.
Yeah, it is, especially considering that a lot of these moves, like I was kind of mentioning,
Yep.
it just the laser shots from Rob can really kill. But a stock and a point for South Tama.
And so Osage.
All right, we got Jesse Simon going against
Righty.
Colton Joker.
All right, so with that, I do believe, I guess technically it would be what, 4-1 Osage
Hold on
after
here.
that?
Nelson and Ordez.
But gosh, I've never seen a Simon player, to be genuinely honest. Usually,
So the forfeit gives. Oh, do we add those points on?
Like
I'm
before
wondering.
or
Yeah,
after?
I'm wondering. I mean, I
Oh.
would think before, right?
I would think maybe. Technically, it hasn't happened yet, so
All
I
right.
guess
So-
technically no.
So we're looking at 3-1. Is
Yes.
that right? Okay.
Yeah. Now, this kind of this matchup, I'm not quite familiar with Simon. However, Joker is able to build up sort of kind of rage meter, and then once you get the rage meter, you are able to call sort of kind of Joker's special. And that can have a lot of kickback, a lot of hit, throwback ability. So it's going to be very dangerous. And at this point, just so kind of neutral fight, able to get a couple fights in. Joker just has so much good mobility in getting some of those charges off that Simon character is supposed to get. It's already so good, and a nice up air into that combo. And already gets the Osage Joker into the that special character that I was kind of mentioning. So he's going to hit a little harder. He's going to throw back a little harder because he's getting that rage meter kind of built up. So what South Tama really needs to do is need to watch for that timer, that top little part where that bar, as you can see, it's going down more. So you kind of want to, the technical term is kite, camp, whatever you want to talk about it. And a nice shield from South Tama already. Gets, we're basically at equal footing already as Simon character is able to get a nice recovery off the edge there. Good combo. Tried to follow it up with the chain. Couldn't quite get any value on that. Ooh. So far so good. Again, just with the initiations, tried to look for that follow-up up air, but can't quite connect on it. Tries to get a ledge guard back into the neutral state. At 91%, able to kind of kite what he does. He's charging up his smash, can't quite get it, and that's a good engage from the Osage player. So already trying to get some combos. And so kind of baiting a little out as the pace has definitely slowed. And a nice hit, but no. Oh, there's the follow-up right off the top of the side, and he does it again. 127% now for Osage. So that's a good start off, but now 101 as this, and a nice up air right off the top of the platform. That's going to kill every time. So even though we're down a stock, it still looks pretty good. Just needs to kind of get a follow-up. Maybe need to go into an angle, just different sort kind of approach. Of course, we've usually seen like that distance fire coming out from the bottom of the stage. And right now, Osage has kind of got that number. Already 61% for South Tama in their second stock, where South Tama is trying to look for the finisher. Maybe go for like some kind of dash grapple that we kind of seen earlier. Oh, and another up air. Tried to parry it out and able to get it, but no follow-up because of there's some invincibility frames that go on a recovery or I guess when you're teching out of something like that. But already 140% and tried to recover out of it and couldn't get it. So that's a difficult space right now for South Tama.
Ordaz needs to get this next stock, if not to just get the point with Osage's player at 140% opportunity here.
Yeah, and at this point, it's almost like any kind of special move is going to, get him with that full knockback.
But do you want to waste it is maybe the question.
Right. It's really tough, too, because you also have to play kind of a little sheepish, a little conservative when you're down two stocks like that. So it's almost like you got to find the right moment to engage. And just like that, able to get an up air, has enough knockback on the percentage, able to get it to go. So
Ordaz picks up his first stock off of Nelson from Osage.
All right. Able to use the projectile to get a back kick. And
unable to get the...
Yeah, he went in for an initial attack rather than the recovery, and that's what caused that point to happen. But you know what? It's looking up. You still got to feel good. You're still able to take stock. You're not winning the matches that you want, but that's okay.
So Osage leading here in this first round, 5-2.
Okay, so let me explain to everybody then. We have an issue here that's going to cause us to forfeit this next match. So
Okay, so now the forfeit is going to happen. So this would technically be a
Okay, so
3-0.
Fontenelle was set to be the third player, and he was going to go against Ben Meyer. And so that match will be forfeit. And that will add 3 points to Osage. And so next up for South Tama will be Jerome Capeu playing as Roy, taking on Dace Darrow, playing as Captain Falcon.
Right. Yeah. So Falcon is a very good character, very interesting. The biggest thing here is try to not engage as much directly. Of course, you don't want to have the charge up of the Falcon punch, but Roy is, the positive matchup into this. So you just got to be very good. And that's a nice little dodge there right in the neutral fight. And a nice return shot out. If they can get the combo off on top of some of the platforms, that would be huge. But he sort of kind of conservatively stays in the neutral. Osage able to get a couple follow-up shots in, and already in a ledge guard situation for South Tama. Nice recovery out. And yeah, at this point now with 97% ticked, you want to kind of watch out for any of those Falcon grapples. Definitely don't want to have charge up for Falcon Punch. That would almost kill at any point in the stage, but already able to get a couple good jabs off. Gets him to 82%, and a good
Big
read.
hit there.
Good read with a side shot.
Capeu takes his first stock, coming from behind on that one.
Yeah. So already got to be feeling good. 110%. Of course, a lot can kill, especially any grapples, back throws, something like that. But a ledge guard situation, some of those iframes are going to come into play here. But he's going to reverse it back around. And a good utilization from Osage, able to use some of those top set of the platforms. So we're kind of zone out whatever Roy is trying to dish out here. Good shield usage. Good predictability that Roy is able to use. Even at 133%, already ticking 89%. So a couple of those iframes able to give him just a little bit of support there for the Osage player. But again, back in the same situation. Now he's looking for a follow-up, didn't get it. And a nice reversal. So sends him up in the air, and there's the confirmed kill. Nice neutral B.
One stock left for Darrow from Osage.
Yeah, and at 157%, any kind of percent you can get off of Osage right now is going to pay dividends going into your second stock. All right, so able to get a couple of the shots in there. Resets on the stock, so your kickback isn't, your knockback isn't all that much. So play aggressively as much as and as hard as you want at this point as Roy, and just try and tick down that last stock. Kind of look for a neutral B, kind of get back into that disadvantaged state that Captain Falcon has been in. It's just been really difficult for the Osage player to kind of get back into their advantage state. As you can just see, the predictability. Just knowing what move Captain Falcon's going to use, set himself up to get into that position. Just, it's been great. And a good grapple. And a good read back out. Doesn't get the angle on the parry for Osage. So pace definitely slowed down at 101% for the Osage player. So he's going to play a little bit more slowed. Definitely more conservative with his attacks. But that's a good ledge guard situation. So this game goes 3-1 for South Tama.
So
Winning
Jerome Capeu
matches.
picks up some ground for the Trojans. And this will be the final match of this first round. Jonah Houghton playing as Incineroar, taking on Jackson Jones as Ridley.
So Incineroar versus Ridley is actually a really good matchup for South Tama. Ridley is sort of kind of like a slow, bulky character, but definitely hits very hard. Whereas Incineroar is also, a big swinger, just different kind of, just sort of kind of big grapples attacks. and it's going to basically boil down to who can play whose game the best, because it's the best way to sort of kind of put this in perspective is, you know, Mike Tyson's versus George Foreman. It's a heavyweight fight between these two types of characters. And already a good follow-up there from Ridley, trying to go for an edge guard. Nice get up from South Tama, able to counter. Gets a nice grapple back. Of course, a couple iframes coming there from Ridley when you see him flash white like that. That's some iframes. Can't get the recovery. So definitely one of those things that South Tama has to work on. Try and not get into a disadvantaged ledge trap state. A nice throw. That's not going to quite kill at 88%. It's already neutral, trying to get some parries out. And a good grapple out. And again, just can't quite kill. Tries the ledge guard and
just slipped
SDs
off the
because
edge.
of it.
Goodness. That's tough.
That's unfortunate, especially when if you would have landed that, that would have been like a confirmed kill. So
Yeah.
playing on the back foot, unfortunate. Already. So yeah, great neutral fight again. You know, just a lot can kill for Incineroar at that high percentage, of course, but you know, a really good gameplay. Just wish you could have that one stock back.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a follow-up. Does it again. Tries to recover and doesn't get it. So yeah, Incineroar is just really tough on getting those recoveries. So.
All right, so that's the end of game one. Osage takes it 13-6. Nice job, you guys. Come up here a little bit.
All right, so I do believe this is end of round
End of round
one.
one. South Tama trailing 13-6 against Osage, and we're playing best of three. So this is do or die time here for the Trojans. They're going to go into this next one down by 7, and they will. And it's really down by 10 because the one match is going to be forfeit. So
Right.
let's see. Can they even? So that okay. So they would. Yeah, they'd have to play nearly perfect to
Yeah,
to
which
come out of this one.
gonna be tough, but I mean, you know,
one match at a time.
yeah, one match at a time, one stock at a time, even. In some of those cases, I mean, some of those matchups are kind of, you know, disadvantage state of one another, but I mean, it's definitely doable for South Tama. I wonder if some of the nerves have finally maybe relaxed. I
Yep.
know. I saw just from some of the body language, you know, if there was a miscue or a miscalculation, didn't quite get, you know, a true combo going. They sort of kind of like had a bodily reaction, and
Yep.
and of course, you know, that's understandable when you're trying to get every single hit perfect. But you know, at that point, you just need to relax. You need to, you know, kind of remember, you know, what plays well into the character that you're playing against. So it's just gonna boil down to, and I also know here, I think when you go into the second round, you can basically counter pick,
Okay.
or maybe pick a different character. I don't know. At least at the collegiate level, you know, when you go back into your like second round, you can pick like typically like if you're playing into a Rob and you're playing hero and you lose as hero.
Yep.
At this point, if you're playing against a Rob, maybe you want to go with like maybe a young Link, a Toon Link, even a Luigi would probably be better because you get that extension with all the different grapples that you have with Luigi's vacuum. So
Yep.
it's tough. It's tough, especially when you're down so much. Unfortunate that a player had to forfeit in that scenario, but it's still doable.
Yeah, not completely out of hand for the Trojans, and we'll see. We're just the teams kind of conferring here a little bit, getting ready to go, and we'll have the round 2 action coming your way shortly. In just a week and a half or so, we're going to have winter action starting here on Trojan Country. Our wrestling broadcast will start with the girls' home tournament on November 16th. So, Trojan fans, make sure to mark that on your calendar. And that's going to be an exciting night here at South Tama. We're anticipating over or around 200 wrestlers coming into South Tama's gym, and it's going to be a packed house, that's for sure. I remember from last year in the inaugural season of the Iowa girls wrestling, Iowa High School girls wrestling season, the atmosphere was electric, I would say. The excitement for all those teams being together, the first meet of the season for all of them, was a really fun thing to be a part of, and I think we're going to just see that excitement grow again. Excuse me, as we get into the second season. South Tama increasing their numbers. I think they're around 15 out for varsity at the moment. They triple in number. They had 5 girls out last year, and they're up to a full roster, I believe, now this year. So we'll be able to compete as a team, where they had to send just individual wrestlers into action last season. So we'll be excited to follow along with them. The Trojans not graduating any wrestlers off of their team last year. Maylee Ellsbury, the championship run for her last year, she comes back as a senior. Her sister Autumn Ellsbury was a medalist. Abigail Chima comes back as well, and as does the other 3. Or there were 6. Excuse me, there were 6 players that almost tripled in size. So as far as I know, the roster from last season's coming back, and some other girls coming into the fold as well. So we got winter sports coming up in just a few short days. So stay tuned to our Facebook and YouTube for broadcast updates there. And but that will be our first one. So that's starting at 7 p.m. or no 5 p.m. I believe, Thursday, November 16. So tune in then. And we'll have high school wrestling, and then the following week, girls basketball gets started on that following Tuesday. I don't have the date in front of me, but the girls head to Marshalltown for their opener. That'll be the first Tuesday before Thanksgiving. The boys wrestling program will have their inter-squad scrimmage, their annual scrimmage meet. I believe they also hold their soup supper fundraiser on that night as well. So a couple things to keep in mind and on the calendar as winter sports get close to started here. So we're still waiting for, I don't know exactly what we're waiting for. Maybe Osage is not logged on yet. We'll see.
Yeah, we don't got players at the controllers, so at least here. So
Yeah, true.
maybe it's like a wait period. Maybe start at a specific time, but I mean, just the one thing that I want to mention is look at all the people that are here.
Yeah, really nice
people
crowd out
watching,
tonight.
and it's so exciting to see. I like I was saying, when I was in high school, I wish that I could have been a part of something like this, but now we see the team going down on to, I guess, the game field where the controllers are and getting ready for that matchup.
All right, game 2. We got switching up a little bit.
We're rearranging our order.
Okay.
Fulton is now going to go last, and Jonah is changing characters. Other than that, it's just you guys can see the order that we're in.
Okay,
But those are the only order.
fantastic.
Okay. All right, so Jerome Capeu is going to be up first. I almost said wrestling. Fighting against Ben Meyer, who is playing as Roy. So it's with the forfeit, things kind of changing up here a little bit.
Yeah, and a Roy into Roy is really interesting. Kind of look at the fast-paced kind of battle. Try to get a couple quick jabs, get a lot of series of true combos going, and a nice trade there already initially in the neutral fight. But South Tama on the backhand with 67% to basically a flawless Osage at this current moment. So it's going to be the case of trying to, and when you play against a mirror match like this, you almost want to try and get into the head of the other opponent, try and bait out something else here. As you can kind of see here, Osage, maybe the reactionary bit of
Kind of
the
waiting,
jump. Yeah. And so far, a flawless Roy play for Osage is 1 stocks away.
So Osage strikes first. South Tama with 2 remaining stocks. And both players kind of feeling each other out here a little bit in this
Absolutely.
early going.
Yeah, definitely the pace of play is slowed down. Try to get a couple parries out, so for South Tama. Just at that point, trying to get the connectability on it. trying to bait out using one of the platforms for South Tama. Doesn't get any value from that. Switches it up. And a good counterattack there. Initially not applying the pressure. Gets a grapple, tries to get a combo off of it. Doesn't time it just perfectly. But, 67% now for the Osage. But, again, down a stock, you still got to play a little bit more conservatively when you're on the back foot like this, especially on a mirror matchup. And, just punished initially for those quick set of jabs. Back again. Gets value. So now looking for a ledge guard situation. Good read. Gets it again. Oh, but a counter. And a nice smash to kind of close out that stock.
Capeyu comes back quickly and tabs in his first stock against Meyer of Osage.
And he's going to apply that pressure. He's in the advantage state. Tries to get the pick out, but gets a grapple. Doesn't bait out any kind of situation there. Doesn't go with an up air, but a nice counter back to the advantage state. Again, tries to pick out one of those get up guards and back into the advantage state again. And with this,
we're tied up.
The recovery of Osage didn't go according to plan. He didn't get on stage at all. So back in this same ledge guard situation, South Tama on the advantage. Back to the neutral fight. Gets the shield down just a little bit more. Oh.
The lag again coming into play here.
Okay. Tries to get the charge up from Osage on the smash. Disadvantage state, trying to get out. Nice parry. 30% for Osage. But at this point, you still got to be feeling pretty good at South Tama. Again, nice series of jabs back into the advantage state. Charging the B, miscounts it just a little bit. Back into the neutral fight. Again, trying to pick it out. And
another big hit there by Capeyu.
Yeah. So it's just going to be trying to read. I feel like Capeyu's got Osage in his head. Just a little bit. 101%. That play won't kill. Good get up. Good
another
read.
Strong hit there by Capeyu.
Good read. Already at 95% for the Osage 109. It's equal.
And what's interesting is Meyer was the player that sat out for Osage on that forfeit round. So he may be coming in a little cold.
Yeah.
Whereas Capeyu won his first round match. And there it is.
And there it is. South Tama comes back from behind, down a stock initially, comes back, gets a quick series of stocks, gets in the head of Osage, and wow. 3-2, and the match win. But you got to be feeling pretty good, especially after a Roy counter on that.
Yeah.
A Roy mirror match. So, wow, really getting in the heads. They got to be feeling good.
All right, next up for South Tama, it'll be Alex Babinet playing as Hero, going against Jackson Jones playing as Ridley. Jones also played as Ridley last time out. And Babinet also as Hero, so no changes there.
Yeah, so going again into the Ridley, I am very unsure at what is the sort of kind of the recovery options that Hero has, but Ridley has more variability on the edge. So I would look more for Babs to particularly, get a couple counters right there in the neutral fight, get a couple up smashes, B smashes, really utilize those platforms, but already at the disadvantage state, and that's a good read there from the Osage player, using sort of kind of like those projectile shots, neutralized his movement, because you only are able to get one movement, per like aerial.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just a good read, but kind of slowing down the pace now, getting a couple grapples. But Yep. So already a couple good jabs back and forth. That's a good pick right out of shield. So trying to utilize those platforms, which I really do like. You know, it kind of takes away that main stage because the dash grapples that Ridley has is tough. But again, you know, those recoveries from Ridley is just really nice. But a good grapple out. Try to look for the advantage. And there's the fireball. Good recovery. Oh, but he gets it again. So using those iframes, he's able to get it back up. A nice little air
Was
air
all
get up.
underneath the map there and able to kind of scoot around.
Oh, he's
Going to be tough here at 133.
yep. Okay, so back into the neutral fight. He gets grappled again, and that's
Big
going
hit
to kill.
there, and
Yep.
that will give Osage Jackson Jones his second stock out of 3 here.
So at this point now, South Tama really needs to maybe try and bait out some of those platforms. But again, you know, just the pressure that Osage has been applying with those fireballs in those advantage ledge guarding situations. It's just been tough, especially playing in with the hero. So still trying to find a couple openings. It's just really difficult because even though Ridley is such a big character,
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of engage, especially with all the projectile kind of engages
Yep.
that Ridley has. So, and just the reading that Ridley has, just absolutely great, and you know, and that caused the win right there. So.
So 3-0, or no, excuse me.
Yes, I do believe
3-0,
it was
yeah.
a 3-0. All right, so
So next up for South Tama is going to be Jesse Ordaz playing as Simon against Dace playing as Captain Falcon.
okay, so Simon into a Captain Falcon. Again, you know, this is sort of kind of like a similar-bodied, similarly agile characters. Of course, it's going to go back into potentially the advantage state of the Simon because he has that chain grapple. But conversely, once the distance is kind of closed in with the Captain Falcon and able to utilize some of those dash attacks. So it's basically going to be the case of who can get the grapple first and who can get the true combos off of the grapples. Already initially doing good. For South Tama already baits the advantage state, jumps up into that. That's kind of not what you want. Again, trying to create that space with the fire move. Gets that combo off, so okay, very slow pace so far though. But 79% for Osage already initially. Gets a good read on it. And tries to get that one move from the aerial, didn't get the recovery, and South Tama able to get their first point. So again,
Solid work there by Ordaz.
Yeah, absolutely. So reading the combos, gets another edge
That
trap.
looks good for Ordaz again.
And there, you know, that's the thing that he's been doing really good is that Captain Falcon doesn't have a lot of recovery options.
Yeah.
So if he can get him out into the disadvantage state, back into the ledge guard, make him use that one ability, and
There
then
it is
zone
again.
him out again,
Yep.
that's a guaranteed stock every time. Again, trying to bait out a couple situations. Gets a double read on the projectile throws. But again, you know, 108%, but, you know, you're at the advantage of 2 stocks. Now you're at the advantage of 1 stock. I would still play aggressively.
There it is.
And that was, I believe, an SD situation for the Falcon. Kind of realized that he wasn't going to win that Simon engage, and he just decided to walk off stage. So, Yeah, yeah. SD situation, so kind of didn't want to take that fight. So awesome engagement there, for South Tama.
So up next in the last bout of this round, Jonah Houghton for South Tama playing
Yes.
as Ike, taking on Colton Nelson of Osage playing as Joker.
Okay. Joker has the advantage into this just because of the basically, the quick action that, Joker has. And of course, we have to deal with that charge of the rage. But I am an Ike main. I played Ike, casually.
Yeah.
Basically, at this point for Ike, you got to play aggressively, get into that zone, get a couple of those dash attacks, and then you kind of want to finish with like a neutral beast or kind of anywhere in the stage, kind of get a predictability into that. And a nice neutral B right there, didn't quite execute. Of course, you're at a low charge like this, but
Big
a
hit
good,
there.
wow, just sort of kind of like a side tilt kind of a situation right off the edge and already takes that first stock in the first 30 seconds.
We still have not added on the forfeit points here as that match is slated last. So the round 2 score reads 6-6 at the moment, but it's actually 9-6 in favor of Osage because of the forfeit.
So he almost has to play. Oh, that's a good. That's a difficult thing with Ike is that he has very limited recovery off stage. But, I don't know about getting into that disadvantaged state so early. But he's looking for the B. Good shield from the Joker. Able to wind down sort of kind of the rage special there from Joker. Now he's going to look for the dash. Didn't quite get the back B for South Tama. Ooh, doesn't get the read. He kind of charged it a little bit too hard. Gets a good a nair out of that. That was a good weight recovery from the Joker. Gets a good grapple and a nice follow-up.
Big hit there. Houghton staying alive.
Okay, so at a disadvantaged state now for South Tama, 124%. You'd almost kind of want to think about, that taking that stock off, but you want to play as clean as you can into the side. Get a couple parries, get a couple of those neutral beats that's kind of been playing into your value, and getting a good set of stock just by getting a couple juggles in. Okay, so he's got the full rage. At this point, you kind of want to kite it out, try and not take as much as you can. Oh no!
Oh no! Just a mistimed.
Yeah, that was a little
there.
bit too of aggressive play, but you're still up a stock. It's still doable. Still a good chance. And just a couple lag issues, which that can hurt with the timing just a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're in kind of a flow situation and the lag comes in and.
Oh, I don't know if you wanted to pick that move right off when you're so far off of the recovery. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. At this point, again, you don't want to play in that disadvantaged state. That's the thing. You want to go with the neutral fight, try and get it to the advantage, try and get a couple combos off, use some of those platforms. And it's just, and that's kind of why he's kind of on the back foot now. He's in that disadvantaged state. Joker has so much more recovery and just, but okay, gets a couple good guards off. So Joker waiting for that B to kind of, or that neutral B to kind of pop off. So good recovery stage. Okay. So a good follow-up. Pushes him off to the ledge. He doesn't want to chase that. Gets a couple lag opportunities here. So definitely slowing it down. But gets the reversal. Gets the parry, and that's the game because of such a high percentage that Joker was at. So classic Ike play.
So let's see here.
So
All
it was
right,
11
so,
to
yep.
9 for the final score. So yeah,
And again, Smash players, what a amazingly fun season again. You guys.
So that concludes the action here as Osage will go on to defeat South Tama. Coach Carnahan is kind of talking to the players and parents here, so we're trying not to interrupt too much here.
right. Yeah, it sounds like they'll have a Rocket League team come up, and man, Rocket League's so fun.
Yeah, so the winter season just coming up shortly, and then in the spring, the Mario Kart season as well. So it's a kind of a full slate of action for these kids that
Yeah, so
that are
exciting.
able to kind of stay plugged in throughout the year. And so yeah, kind of running through the results again. Let's see here. South Tama or Osage took the round 1 win, winning 13-6. It was, I believe, Jerome Capeu getting the only win of round 1, defeating Dace Darrow 3-1. And then Capeu started first in the second round and got a win over Ben Meyer. And then South Tama came out and won the last 2 matches. It was Jesse Ordaz and Jonah Houghton. Ordaz winning 3-1 and Houghton winning 3-2 in that last one there. So it's pretty exciting finish, but South Tama will take the loss. Osage advances on to the state finals. That'll be in person at Marshalltown at the Orpheum Theater. That's next week. So the 3 different game seasons that are happening at the moment, I believe it's Smite and Smash Brothers and Rainbow Six, I think is the other one. And each game has a day of the state finals where they're competing throughout the whole day, and the Osage will go on and compete on that Saturday. So, all right, so we're going to wrap things up here at STC High School. Thanks for checking out some STC esports with us, and thank you so much, Hunter, for coming down. Really do appreciate your
Absolutely.
expertise and being on the call. So,
Thanks for hosting this. This was
Yeah.
really fun and really exciting to watch this. So.
all righty, have a great night, everybody. Good night and go Trojans.